Welcome back to another episode of Terp Trends, the podcast where we break down cannabis through real conversations, real people, and real experiences without all the ego. Today, we're joined by Liz, the creator of Liz Lights Up, a platform dedicated to helping people, especially seniors, navigate today's cannabis world with confidence. Liz's journey started with a simple but frustrating experience, trying to find a medical cannabis practitioner who accepted Medicare. That search opened her eyes to a much bigger issue. There's so many people, especially seniors, that are interested in cannabis but feel overwhelmed by all the new terminology, products, and regulations. But let's be honest, most seniors grew up buying a baggie from someone they knew, rolling a joint and calling it a day. There were no conversations about terpenes, cannabinoids, live resin, or whether something was an indica or sativa. Cannabis has evolved tremendously over the last 50 years, and for many people, the learning curve can be very intimidating. That's exactly why Liz created Liz Lights Up, to make cannabis education approachable, relatable, and welcoming for everybody. Today, we're talking about the challenges facing older cannabis consumers, how education can remove the fear of stigma, and the importance of building a community. Why cannabis should be accessible to every generation, not just the newest one discovering it. So sit back, roll one up, grab your favorite edible, and enjoy the conversation with Liz from Liz Lights Up. This is Terp Trends. Let's dive in.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of Terp Trend. We went through some technical difficulties, and luckily enough, the guest is so cool. She was welcome to come back on, and she's down to do it. So I want to introduce this little groovy lady that I met at Necan, New Jersey last year. Her name is Liz Lights Up, which I'm sure some of you in New Jersey are familiar with. But we're going to dive into her story a little more. Liz, how we doing?
I am doing fantastic. I am seriously living the dream.
Good. I'm glad I made it in the dream.
I'm 67. I'm peddling pot. Who'd have thunk it?
I know. Good. And Liz, so I know you're going to come with some audience that is, they do know you, they will recognize you, but for my listeners that aren't, could you give them just a brief introduction of who you are and what you're currently trying to accomplish in New Jersey?
Well, my name is Liz Quinn. I am the CEO and founder of Liz Lights Up. It's a senior online education, cannabis education community. I offer modules, I offer product reviews, videos, chats, experts, free for seniors, actually free for anybody. My focus is on not only seniors, but the handicapped. We're definitely, and veterans. Oh my God, we cannot forget the veterans.
Can't forget the veterans.
They need to be number one. Seriously.
Yeah.
So, as this started out as a senior education, because when I came into the industry, I didn't know anything. And that's how I got started. But there are so many people out there that need the education. They need the advocacy.
Yeah.
And especially with seniors, we're a different breed.
Yeah.
And so our needs, our communication, we're different. We're wired differently. A lot of us still hold that stigma.
Yeah. Around cannabis. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's got to stop. It has to stop. And the way to do that is through education. Education brings awareness. Education brings advocacy. And advocacy builds the destigmatization.
Yep. And I like that you highlighted that, because getting involved in this industry in 2026, like, if you don't have any history with cannabis or any just basic understanding of the plant, it would probably be very overwhelming for a new consumer to come into this space and then try to navigate it alone.
That's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened to me.
Yeah.
When I got back into cannabis, of course, I was smoking weed in the 80s. We grew our own, blah, blah, blah. Then, had my kids, raised my family, every once in a while at a party here or there, somebody had a little bud.
Yep.
Not always, but, if it was a good one. And then I had a very bad back.
Okay.
Okay. I wasn't having surgery. And I could have taken painkillers, or, you know what? Medical marijuana is legal in New Jersey.
Nice.
At the time, it was expensive. You had to go to the doctor. You had to bring like a banker's box full of medical records.
Wow.
And, then you would talk and they would decide if you were qualified. And if you were qualified, then you had to take a class, which was great. I mean, it wasn't anything spectacular, but it was good. There are 3, they taught you there's sativa, indica, hybrid. You can smoke it, in a joint, blah, 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 or you can use one of these packs. And, this was early days. So, and that's all there was. I mean, they were just starting to talk about vape cartridges. They weren't out. And so, you went to the medical dispensary. It was much better. You sat down, you talked, you told them what your symptoms were. They, they evaluated you and suggested what they thought would help what you were there for. And then recreational became legal.
Nice.
And that's when the shit show started.
And what do you mean?
Tell me wrong.
I don't think you're wrong, but I think it's good to bring people in on what would you clarify as the shit show when adult use came to market.
Okay,
the medical.
Edibles, dabs, batter, butter, distillate, resin, rod. What the hell? It's like walking into the Twilight Zone and all this stuff is coming at you. It really is. It really is. It's like we were simple folk.
Yep.
We could MacGyver anything into a smokable device.
Yeah.
Okay? And now you've got devices that you're putting some form of weed that isn't weed, but it is weed, but it looks like wax or oil, and you smoke, it's very overwhelming.
It's very overwhelming.
Right, it would be like the younger generation going back into the 70s and trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
It really would be.
And it's not the easiest to understand, especially so in a medical program, they're usually heavier on the educational side and they'll try to walk you through things. But what people need to understand is once the state goes into adult use, it goes into a retail operating system. And once that happens, the education isn't really at the forefront. It's more how do we create as many sales as possible. But when you walk into these places, now not everyone, there's an exception for people who still really go heavy on the educational side, and they will always have a special spot in my heart. But a lot of these stores, you just walk in, it's an open layout, you go to the cash register, and there's this big screens above the cash register with a menu with over maybe 1,000 different items and 12 to 13 different categories with no explanation of what it is. And that is hard to navigate.
Oh, yeah. Not just for seniors, for anyone.
Yeah. I would say especially for seniors because you guys are used to just pretty much flour, maybe edibles from like cookies or baked goods from back in the day, and the rare occasion of hash or hashish, or for what it was.
Oh, no, we loved our hash. I love hash.
Yeah.
Love hash.
But throwing the that we have available now, like that was way different from what it was like in the day. Like
yes, it is.
The live resins, the diamonds, like what the heck is all of that? And it's all the same, but it's not. And it's like, how do you navigate that? So what was that like for you trying to learn all this stuff?
I'm still learning it.
Yeah.
It's still a learning curve. My biggest issue, I have 2. My biggest one is dabbing.
Yeah.
I want to dab really bad and I suck at it. And I don't want to invest money until I learn how to do it. So I have, a bong with a banger and it's just, I can do it, but it's terrible. I'm really bad. It's a lot of waste.
And are
No.
you with the bong and the banger? Are you still heating that banger up with like with a flame element or something like that?
Yeah,
Which
I
is
have a
intimidating.
torch, and I start cold.
Yep.
That's
Okay.
it. Yeah, and I have a torch. I don't think it's strong enough. It's, it's not a little one. It's like a little medium one.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna get this down. I have so many people said that they are gonna help me learn. So I've got to nail one down and say, okay, let's do this.
Yes. And it's hard. So I grew up, and the first dab rig that I saw, I was very intimidated by it because it was exactly what you said. I had it on a bong. Well, it wasn't me, as a friend. It was on a bong, a water tube. And we had this component off the stem, which was like a swing mechanism with an iron tray. So you would heat the tray up from the bottom. You would swing it back under like the horn that's coming around, and then you put the dab on top of that swing, and then you would inhale. And to see now the devices that have been created from like the earlier days to now having a banger, like it is convenient, but I think the hardest thing for people to get over is having to use the torch.
Yeah, see, that doesn't phase me. I don't care.
No,
It doesn't phase me in the least.
good.
No.
Good.
And
What's it for you? Just finding the temperature then?
yeah.
Yeah, and not going too hot.
Yeah, exactly. I have no idea. And I know as soon as it starts bubbling,
Yeah.
that's when you take the lighter off and you just start inhaling.
Yep. Yep.
I mean, I'm doing it the way they're telling me. I'm just not doing it well at all.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll have to put some messages out and get you an e-rig. How do you feel about e-rigs, like the Puffcos and the?
Oh yeah, until I learn, I wasn't going to put any money out. But if anybody wants to send me one, hell yeah.
Yeah. All right. We'll see what we can do for you, Liz. I think that'll be great because it's just so convenient. Like the way that you can just heat it up with just a tap, and you can constantly be using it. Like it's to me, it's been a life changer because the torch was just a turn off in my eyes. Having to use a torch, I was just like, man, this is getting crazy.
Yeah, it's in line.
And
Yeah.
you have like 3 or 4 charges just to enjoy your medicine, and it's like, man, I need to figure that out. So we'll see what we can do for the half, and the e-rig for you.
I love my hash, and I'll tell you something. Back in the day, when the crops were low, usually October, November, it was dry.
Yeah.
So anytime you got anything, no matter what you smoked it in, except for a joint, obviously. But when weed was tight back then, you did usually smoke out of a pipe.
Yep.
Or a bong. And then when you were done, you would get toothpicks and you would scrape out the resin in the tubes. And then you would put it in a little piece of paper, a little piece of easy wider, and smoke it.
Oh, yeah. We've all been there.
Yeah.
I guarantee you 90% of our listeners today they can equate to that. We've all been there.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny because now you've got rosin, you've got the resin. Yeah, well, we were putting it in, rolling papers back in the day.
Yeah.
A little different, but
it is different. So you're in the stores and you're now learning that you have way more to take on, right? Because there's like, what the hell are all these screens? What does all this mean?
Yeah.
How do you accomplish getting over that?
Well, at first it was very overwhelming.
Yeah.
What I started to do, and I think this is very helpful, now I pre-order, but is always to go to the website first.
Yeah.
See what they have. If you know your symptom, if you know what you're looking for, if you're looking for something that's high in CBG or something that's high in beta-carotene, or you really want to clean the house, so you want some alpha-pinene, and that's where a lot of my education came from.
More in the terpene side of things.
Yeah, because people are not, it's funny. Everything is about the THC, the THC, the THC. It's not.
No.
It's not. I have had lower THC in the teens
Yep.
get and make me higher than something that's like 32%.
Yeah.
And
And-
people just, everybody's looking for the highest THC, cheapest product.
Yeah.
And
That's especially Jersey.
yeah, but not the seniors.
No. Good.
No, because, number one,
Yeah.
we're the fastest in the growing demographic in the entire industry.
Okay.
Okay. We are the OGs.
Yeah. That's right.
We're also the dumbest. Because there's just, and it's nature versus nurture. We don't know what the hell is going on, what the hell happened.
Yeah.
It literally exploded when recreational, became legal. And I would be asking bud tenders, can you tell me about this? And they had some education.
Yeah.
But they also have their standard operating procedures that they have to follow.
Yep.
I'm actually working with the founder of the Women's Cannabis Chamber of Commerce. She does think tanks, and
Very cool.
she's doing a bud tender think tank. So I have a couple of bud tenders that one I've reached out to already. I have one more to get them on there, because the bud tenders are the first line of defense. They are the front line.
Yep. Yeah.
And they need help. They need to be supported.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. And it's such a struggle when it comes to the retail side, because you want to have someone that treats the customer with love, is educated, but can also make a seamless transaction. And when it comes to cannabis, like, those elements they're way more important than any other retail operation. But we still treat it like a normal retail job, where it's like they're the lowest paying in it, but they have the most control and influence. And I hope we figure that out. I mean, I do know some companies that pay their bud tenders pretty well, and their tipping structure is really good, but maybe that's the 5%. Other than that, it's brutal being a bud tender sometimes.
Exactly.
And that's why the door is always turning in this industry, because we don't pay the people enough.
Yeah, and we don't educate them. All right, your vendors are going to come in. They're going to say, here's the sales sheet. Try and push this. Everybody wants their stuff pushed.
Yep.
The stores have an agenda, they have a standard operating procedure, like I said, and who's going to sponsor the most, to get to be promoting their product, whatever their procedures are. Okay. Yep. And that needs to stop. Okay. Especially with seniors.
Yeah.
And one of the things I created in my school platform is a bud tender course on learning more about seniors.
Good.
And how to talk, how to deal with seniors. Like I said, we're a different breed.
Yeah.
So, and what I do, like I said, it's free for anybody, but for memberships are for businesses and dispensaries. And one thing I include with it is, the bud tenders having access to the training, to the chats with their customers, and professionals that we have on the site. And I think it's important. I think it's very important. And I think it's about community.
Yeah. No, the plant's all built on community. That's what cannabis thrives on, and I think the people that understand that more and more, that's where the success is going to be. Sometimes that just approach is not really in the cards. They don't really think about the community. They just think about their business entity by itself. But in this space, you need your people. You need your community.
You need to build your tribe.
Yeah.
The $1 pre-roll sale, and this is not working. Everybody's in a panic because the funding, the money, everything's changing, and they got bills to pay. They got electric bills to pay, they got rent to pay, they got insurance to pay, they got inventory to pay, and they're struggling and they're panicking.
Yeah.
And instead of, trying to do these convoluted sales, because God knows they are convoluted sales, keep it simple, and instead of focusing on the sales, focus on the people. Start talking to your people. Start building that bond, especially with seniors. Most of these dispensaries will tell you that over 50% of their clientele are over 50 years old. I've heard this time and time again. So you need to focus on them.
And what do you think? What do you think they could do better to align with that when it comes to focusing? Is it more on education? Is it taking more of the time with them? What helps bridge that gap?
Every person is individual.
Yeah.
So some, maybe needing that extra time and explanation, and you may have somebody who understands it a little better.
Yeah.
So there, the approaches have to be individual.
Made them
You have to be able to read your customer.
Yeah.
Why are you here? What is your goal? At the end of the day, what are you looking to accomplish? That should be, is this your first time? I have a module about your first time at a dispensary, what questions to ask.
Nice.
Printouts that they can actually take with them to the dispensaries.
No, I think that's powerful. So it just comes with more education is less fear, and less fear, that's when it becomes more normalized.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all we're trying to do. We're just normal people. This plant's not bad.
No, it's good.
It's not bad.
It's good.
But I do feel like more and more people are becoming more aware of it, especially with the reclassification or decriminalization of it all. Like, it's becoming more in the news, more mainstream than it was. But like I don't even think we even got started yet in the cannabis realm. Like, we're still at the beginning stages, the infant stages of this whole program. So
oh God, yeah. I'm a weekly news correspondent for High at 9 News.
nice.
My portion is on Tuesdays. But every day so much changes. Every state is doing something.
Yep.
Changing this, doing that. And it's incredible. And like you said, this is only the beginning.
No, it's only the beginning. Wait till everything goes adult use everywhere.
Yeah.
Then that's when the real shit show, as you said earlier, starts.
Do you know, I was on a podcast with somebody who's written some books, is a Harvard professor, blah, blah, blah. And he was saying that almost 90% of Americans agree that cannabis should be legal.
I believe that.
I do too. Now let me ask you this. When was the last time that many Americans agreed upon anything?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
The plant does have a wild gravitational pull to relationships. Like, a lot of my key relationships now in my adult life were started over joints and people that I just met for cannabis or around cannabis. Like me, I always used it as my social crutch. Like, I knew if you were smoking with me, I knew we had some type of connection here.
Yes.
Usually that's what I used. I was the guy that always kind of had cannabis and would love to help people out. And that was always my vice to get over my social anxiety. Because it's like, all right, well, I'll find the people that like the weed, and then those will be my people.
Yeah.
And then I know I'm cool. But if I'm going somewhere where there's not a whole lot of that, like, man, I might be a little bit of an outlier at this company right now.
Yeah.
or this public event. But it is cool to see people come together over this plant.
And I'm not shy about it.
No,
You know, I can read people, and I can sense if somebody is going to be judgy,
yeah,
you
Yeah.
know. And I don't care.
no,
We're from Jersey. I'm not known for being demure.
yeah, that's right.
I am loud and proud about it because you know what? I can walk with a broken back.
Yeah,
Not far, but I can walk with a broken back. And, if I have to go further, like at any events, I've got a scooter. I
yep,
just scoot around it. And it gives me the ability to do it. But, these handicap issues are a challenge. And I've had a couple of decent size issues that, I'm pretty pissed about. And, this is something that we also have to advocate for. While it's seniors, the handicap,
yeah.
there are a lot of dispensaries that the handicap can't get into.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting because I thought all retail operations had to have some type of capacity for that, whether with the ramps or the spacing. No, because even on my side of opening up stores, like that was always a big
Yeah.
being involved in, the inspections and everything like that. That is always the main concentration, or just designing the store and being like, how do we, if it's a building that we just acquired and it doesn't have this already, like, how do we make this accessible? And that was always on the forefront of anything I had to do. So that's interesting.
Yeah. And there's reasons why. There's one dispensary that is a historic building.
Okay.
And they're grandfathered and they can't touch the building.
Got it.
They can't do anything to it. Without approval. And in inner city dispensaries. Those ones, they're renting these places. Some have a step in them. Their handicap parking is just not happening.
Yeah.
Regular parking's not happening.
Oh yeah.
So
Jersey, y'all get easy.
So there are reasons why there is an inability to provide handicap accessibility. However, if a dispensary can do curbside pickup or delivery, there you go. That makes them, in my eyes, handicap accessible.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's true.
And as long as they can get their medicine.
Yeah. So it does, me being someone who's in market weekly,
mm-hmm.
I do know the dispensaries that don't have parking, and I have to allot more time for these visits because I'm like, I might drive around for 20 minutes in the city to find parking. Yeah. And then I try to find parking lots around there where I know all right, I can go here, and then maybe I just bring my wagon that day and I trailer everything there. But just on the consumer side or the educational side, not having parking to be accommodating for all customers is
it's huge.
It's brutal,
especially for handicap.
Yeah.
And the thing is, people, and I'm including myself.
Yeah.
Unless you're hit with it, you don't think about it. I didn't think about handicap. I was always very respectful of the spaces and, but I never really thought about it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, and it's not just the physical aspects of it, as far as something you were able to do and now you can't. But it's also the psychological side of it is, being a mom of 4 and being the one who raised them. And now I need him to help me open a jar.
Yeah.
So it's, pardon my French, a mind fuck. It really is, and people don't think about it. Again, I didn't think about it.
Yeah.
Now I think about it, especially when I can't get into a place.
No, I'm sure it definitely adds more of the frustrations that we all face daily, and kind of puts a wrench in some plans from time to time, But there is some weed.
Exactly. And that, the pain, the anxiety, the insomnia.
Yeah.
That's what people are looking for. That's what the seniors are looking for.
And what have you found that works really well for you and everything that you're getting dialed in with cannabis? Because now you have a full selection and you're learning more and more.
Okay.
And there's a lot.
Beta carotene is one of my best friends.
Awesome.
From what I understand, though, it doesn't play well with high THC.
No.
So, if you want a high beta carotene for the inflammation, you need to find something with a lower THC.
Which is hard to do these days.
Yeah, it really is. That was the one thing with the medical. They always had high CBD, low THC strains. You don't see that anymore.
No, goes out the door. As soon as adult use comes around, it's THC breeding only.
And that's what people want. Actually, High Grass Farms has a pre-roll that is high CBD, and I'm excited about it. But I like CBG.
Cool.
And at night, I do love some CBN.
Yes. Powerful stuff.
CBN is very powerful.
Yeah.
And with me, for edibles, I need a lot.
Yep.
Not just because I'm, a senior super stoner, but because I don't have a gallbladder.
Okay.
I can't break down the fats.
Different. Yeah.
So they say eating a healthy fat like peanut butter or avocado or mango, when you do an edible will help,
break it down.
Yeah, break it down. I haven't tried
absorb it better.
Yeah. And I haven't tried it yet, but I can knock down 150 milligrams and barely be touched.
And is that with just THC alone, or are there other cannabinoids in there, like CBN?
Not the CBN, but there is a little bit of CBG, and then there are the usual limonene, carotene, sometimes pinene.
Yeah.
Sometimes humulene, which is also one of my favorites.
Nice.
Yeah, I like to not have the munchies sometimes.
And you find that that's helping with it?
Oh my God, yeah.
Good.
I mean, could it be in my head? Maybe. But that's what they say. It's an appetite suppressant.
Yeah, humulene and then THCV helps with that as well. Yeah.
Tell me that's not the perfect combination.
Yeah, you'd be ripping and rocking for that.
Could you imagine if they made a specific strain to help you lose weight?
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool.
Okay, these people, myself included, because I don't have diabetes, but because of my medication, it raises my blood sugar.
Okay.
So I'm on the Manjaro.
Okay.
And I love it. It's definitely helped. But then again, you get a THCV with humulene as their top terpenes. Yep. And, people will go wild for that.
Yeah.
Be like the new Dexatrim.
What I have always wanted to create would be we probably could create it now, but more of like a cannabinoid terpenes therapy where you come in and you get a diagnosis of some sort to figure out what you're looking for. Are you dealing with stress, depression, anxiety? Do you need appetite suppressant, things like that? And then we can create either like a vape or a tincture to use just cannabinoids and terpenes to align with that
profile. Yeah.
So if you're feeling you need some more energy, like you would make a distillate vape that was heavy on THCV. We introduced some humulene terpenes to it and things like that. So it's more of like a DNA structure to what you need rather than, kind of taking a shot in the dark with each different strain. Like I know we all read cannabinoids and terpenes and we try to hunt out certain ratios or percentages, but this would be a really good way to get that all into one type of system, and I've always thought that as a kid. Yeah, when I started messing around with cannabinoid and isolates and learning more about that, that's when I was like, wow, if we're really trying to do something, we need to start treating it more on a pharmaceutical type level.
Thank you.
And approaching it that way, because that's how we've been doing it for years. So why would we change it if we're still trying to use it for a medicine? I use cannabis as a medicine. So why would we try to change that road work that we've already done? You come in, you get diagnosed, and then you receive your treatment. And this way it's all natural, hopefully all organic, and
Right.
it's strictly cannabis. And that's when I think we'll really see the changes in cannabis versus pharmaceutical, because now we're actually putting them against each other. Because right now we're saying, hey, try this strain if you feel this way because of these percentages.
Yeah.
And it's still a lot in the dark that we don't know.
And honestly, different people react differently to the same strain.
Yep.
So when I first got my card, I had gone down to DC and went to a dispensary down there, and you get up to 4 ounces. I was like a kid in a candy shop. But the one thing they had was little 1 gram bags, and I thought that was the coolest thing. So you could try before you buy a bigger. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, I wish they did that in Jersey. And then this was like, we're recreational now. And I'm like, they should do that. They should do grams. And I'm like, you're a dumbass, because that's what pre-rolls are. You could try before you buy.
Yeah, but I wouldn't relate that to the same thing. I think the quality that you would get from a gram in a bag by itself, if it's unground, is different than the quality you would get in that pre-roll.
You know what? You're not wrong. You are not wrong, because it comes from different parts of the plant.
Yeah, and then you're getting a full aspect, because some people, they buy, they like to buy the bigger looking nugs. Like, cannabis is a more of like a visual type of purchasing type aspect. Jersey, not everyone does the deli style, but luckily they have like the bud bar where you can hopefully see what it looks like. But like me back in the day, I love just having different strains in jars, and I myself would just like kind of lose some time and just study all the different nugs and all the jars, and like each strain is a different structure, and like that's what got me so intrigued with cannabis at a young age, because I was like, whoa, like this is dense, smaller structure. It has this smell. This is more leafy, more fluffy, and it's carrying this smell. Like, and then I learned, like, what does that look like? Why are all these strains different?
And sticky and moist and dry. And
it's so interesting to me. This plant.
Me too. I love it. I love learning about it. And the more, like I said, this is a journey just as much for me as it is for, the people in the community. We're all learning. And it's just fascinating. I have a doctor who, she's a cannabis doctor. She's very, she's certified in palliative care, hospice, geriatrics, and she does a live Zoom every Wednesday night. And I have her hooked in, to the school community, because she partnered with me, and anybody can go ask any kind of question. She's been an advocate all over the world, symposiums, all that kind of stuff,
That's awesome.
and this is how we'll learn about, the endocannabinoid system. I can't say it, but I have it. I have one. You have one. We all have one.
The EDC.
Yes.
So much easier. I always lose it too when I try to pronounce the full thing. Endocannabinoid system.
Cannabinoid. It ain't working.
But EDC. It's like the EDC,
Yeah.
Yeah, you need it all.
And honestly, when people start realizing how our system works
Yeah.
and how cannabis works with it,
Yeah.
they
I think,
understand it, it'll make more sense.
and people don't even know that, and I've even had that discussion with maybe non-consumers or people that then learn, because I'm not as flashy as I used to be when it comes to cannabis. So there are some people where I do open up a little bit about what I do and everything like that. And then they're like intrigued. And then I bring them in on the EDC side of things and just our body. And then they're like, I never even knew that. And I'm like, I know. I mean, it is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, we're just, the education's not out there, and it's just deemed to be this gnarly thing. But like, really, it's not. Like, maybe it's not for you, but it's not bad for other people.
And that's
I think
the
it's maybe
problem.
an alcohol.
People just don't understand. Now I'm going to ask you a question. What is the difference?
Uh-oh.
Recorded difference, memorialized difference between medical and recreational cannabis?
At this point, when it comes to everything now, is a retail-driven program, so it would be either tax incentives, it would be limitation for allotment, so how much you can buy. Usually in certain states, if it's adult use and medical, and you are a medical card carrier, you may not have to pay the taxes. Adult use, you may be capped at 1 ounce. If you have a medical card, maybe you don't have a cutoff rate. But nowadays, like, even in the Jersey program, like, there's not a lot of incentives to keep your medical card.
No, but I'm asking more along the lines of the plant itself.
Oh, the plant itself, there's not going to be a difference in my
Okay. All right. Stop right there.
Hit me with it. Time out.
Recreational marijuana is going to remain a Schedule 1 because it has the potential of being addictive. That is what they're saying.
Okay.
Schedule 3, medical marijuana, and it's not addictive. It is the same plant, people. Get a grip. It's the same plant.
Yeah.
That makes me crazy. And these are the leaders of our country telling us, misinformation, because that information is wrong.
Yeah. I'd say I try to give everyone the benefit of the doubt, and I think a lot of people just don't know what they don't know. Unfortunately, a lot of people that don't know what they don't know are in charge of making these laws and writing these bills
with irrational information.
But we saw that firsthand, and they're learning as well with the hemp bill and how we got put into the whole THCA flower craze that we're dealing with, right? So
this episode is brought to you by Waddle, the world's fastest and easiest way to review and track your medicinal cannabis products. Waddle offers batch-specific reviews, so you'll know what to stash or what to trash. It's exclusively available for Pennsylvania medical cannabis patients. Waddle helps you take the guesswork out of your cannabis journey and ensures transparency with the verified product tracking. Download Waddle now on iOS or Android, that's WODL, and take control of your cannabis experience today.
So now we have these storefronts that are spending thousands of dollars to get a license in a recreational or medical state, but then right next to them, the smoke shop that's selling pipes is selling the same type of flower for less.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't do that. That was what was already written.
Yeah, and they're sending products by mail.
Yep.
Because of this loophole.
Yep.
And
it's nuts.
And the prices, like, I've gone to some of these sites.
Yeah. Yeah.
The prices are ridiculous.
And it's the same stuff.
It might be a little better,
Yeah.
Like they offer more for less.
Yeah. And I feel really bad for the dispensary owners who are having to fight against that. But I don't feel bad at anybody taking advantage of the law in the
Right.
name of cannabis. And that's what we're doing. You know, people should have access to this all over. It shouldn't really have to go through as many loopholes as we are, but we're still in the infant stages, all in
Yeah.
time.
And again, the only way to change it is education.
That's it. That's it.
You
So
know?
how are you leaning into more of the educational side? Because that's kind of your frontier right now.
Yeah, it's just talking to people, telling, like I have handouts like terpenes explained. I try and keep everything easy to read, easy to understand, because it is so overwhelming. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this has beta carotene, myrcene, limonene, linalool.
Yeah.
Okay, what the hell does all that mean? Is it
Yeah.
gonna help? Is it gonna help my anxiety? That's what they want to know. You know, and so I try and keep it more along those lines. And
Yeah.
what I do is I explain how they make me feel.
Nice.
You know, like I said, first trip to the dispensary. Also on the site, I am pushing for hiring seniors.
Cool.
To me, that's important. Hire handicap, veterans, seniors. Okay. Number one, they're seasoned.
Yeah.
Number two, they have good work ethic. Best person you can hire is a veteran.
Yeah.
You want to talk about work ethic?
And it's amazing what cannabis helps with PTSD.
And oh my God, yeah. And the suicide rate.
Yeah. It's amazing.
But people don't realize, you know, the handicapped,
Yeah.
the veterans, the seniors, you know, and especially with the seniors, not everyone is living the 401k lifestyle.
No.
People are living on government. And we all know how that goes.
Yeah.
You know, and so these people don't have the money to get their medicine. And I think this is a win-win situation for them. You know, when you're on any of these Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, you can work up to a certain amount of hours. And if they're working in dispensaries and they're meeting vendors and they're getting samples and they're getting a discount, you know, how great would that be?
That'd be awesome.
Tell me that's not a win-win.
I think it's a win-win.
So, yeah, that's my idea.
I like it. I like it. When you're doing these things, are you mostly virtual, would you say? But you're doing pop-ups as well, right? Because I've seen you kind of bouncing around at some stores doing your thing.
Yeah. I like doing the pop-ups in the store.
Yeah.
I like talking to people. I actually did one, and I had a college student come up to me and say, "Is this for seniors in college too? Because I don't know anything." And I'm like, yeah, it's actually for anybody.
Nice.
But you know, I want to bring more foot traffic to my tables. You know, so I'm gonna make them all, you know, pretty. I got tea lights, and I'm going to, you know, hopefully have some products to demonstrate and show. Things that help make your experience better. Education, like I said, is the most important thing. But as important as education is, if you don't know what to do with the information after you get it, what good is it? You know, here you go. Here's an eighth. Enjoy. All right, now what the fuck am I going to do with it? Pardon my French. Yeah.
No, I love it.
You know, like seriously, number one, I can't open the damn zipper.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't even get me started on that. And then, you know, how am I breaking it up? What do I do? Where do I put it? You know? So, you know, there are several vehicles of consumption. That's what I call them, because they really are.
Yeah.
For flour, you've got, rolling papers, you've got blunts, you've got cones, you've got chillums, you got pipes, you got bongs. It's quite the variety. And so they need to learn how to use the different things. Back in my day, we didn't have grinders.
No,
you used your fingers
Yep.
and scissors.
Yep.
Yeah. So, these little things are important.
It's a lot to learn.
It is a lot to learn. It really is. But if you do it in little bites and focus on what is important to the customer, the consumer, it's all about listening to them.
Yeah.
It's all about learning them, their needs, their goals.
Yeah.
If somebody comes in, all right, you're a first-time consumer. What are you hoping your end goal will be?
Yeah.
Is it pain-free? Is it anxiety-free? Do you want to gain weight? And it's very important that these bud tenders also make sure to point out to check with their doctors, because cannabis may interact with other medications. So these are important things.
No, I think so, especially on the medical side of like the interactions or what it could do. My biggest thing was always dialing dosaging for seniors, and making sure you don't get too intoxicated before bed or wake up in the middle of the night and have trouble because you are really stoned, things like that. And it's important. So always just low and slow when it comes to cannabis. Low and slow.
I was on one of my High at 9 news shows, and somebody was talking about when one of the states became recreationally legal and edibles were legal.
Yeah.
Their emergency room visits went triple.
Yeah.
With seniors, because they all went out and got gummies, and nobody taught them, and nobody knew how. You're not going to sit there and you're going to eat the whole package. You're going to cut one up into a quarter, and that's what you're going to start with.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, that's crazy.
Well, I'm thankful that they have someone like you.
Oh, thank you.
I think it's great what you're doing, and just taking your own experience and seeing the problems that you had, learning from it, and then being able to walk people through not having to have that same experience, because it could really turn some people off. And like you said at the beginning, it's all about educating, meeting people where they're at, and walking them through this process. Like, that's what's the most important. So how can people stay on top of what you're doing? How can they be a part of your platform? Plug yourself out a little bit for these people to get involved.
Oh, absolutely. We're at skool.com, SKOOL.com, a community-based program. It's skool.com/Liz Lights Up.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And you're on the Instagram.
I'm on Instagram, Liz Lights Up. TikTok, Liz Light Up. I don't know how the hell I screwed that up. And on YouTube, I'm LLU-V2. I got kicked off of YouTube once. So this is version 2. But I've learned.
Yeah. It was because of cannabis?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. That's why I don't I only post audio of everything, because I think once we get into the video side of things, if they see people smoking, or me smoking, it may get flagged. So that's why
not even the problem. The problem is I did a review, and one of the things I was offering was a marquee across the top of the review with the business's name and address.
I'm
I'm promoting the sale.
Got it. Good to know. I feel like there's new guidelines every other
Yeah, and that's what got me kicked off. But now I've learned, and yeah, they don't care if you're smoking.
And volume 2 back.
Yeah, they don't want you selling this. Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense.
And over 18. You gotta be over 18 to view. So
yeah, good.
That's how you can find me.
Nice. And do you have any in-store or community activations coming up? Anything planned for the summer yet?
I am working on my June bookings. I can do 2 a week, one on Wednesdays and one on Fridays. I'm actually going to a grand opening tomorrow.
Nice. Are you going to the next chapter?
That's exactly where I'm going.
I'll see you there, Liz.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'll be there 12 to 3 tomorrow.
Well, okay, I'm going to be coming right around 3-ish because I also work with tar tubes.
Okay.
And I'm going to be bringing down a display. And yeah.
That's awesome. Guess who I just recorded with?
Who?
Tar tubes.
Did you, Nancy and Deanna?
Yep. I talked all about you.
Oh, yeah, we are close. We are very close. It's funny, the things you've told your kids in the past, like you don't talk to strangers on the internet.
Yeah.
You never meet somebody off the internet.
Yep.
And you certainly never take drugs from somebody off the internet.
Yep.
Yeah, we didn't do that.
Yeah. Times are changing.
They are. I did everything, and we chuckle about it because it's funny. We met outside of a restaurant, and we hung out, and we smoked, and we went to the restaurant, and we had such a great time, and it was funny. Yeah.
Oh, they seem like some good ladies.
Oh, they are the best, and
yeah,
they're not playing. They're serious. We're all the same age, so.
Awesome.
Yeah, we really bonded, and we met through the Women's Cannabis Chamber of Commerce.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely tar tubes are the thing.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I bought a case. I bought a pack. And I told him I'll see what I can do for you in New Jersey, for the people I'm close to, and see, because I think it's one, it's a very cool product. But 2, it's the people behind it, and that's what I align with the most when it comes to this space. Is I've been in it for a minute. I already know all the products. I want to know the people. Like who's behind these brands? Who do we need to help out for? It's a family, it's a community.
Exactly.
And who shares that same approach? Because not everybody does in this space, and you got to be careful.
Have bad players, but for the most part, this is the biggest band in the world.
That's it.
I'm sure you've heard, put 5 drunks in a room and they start a fight, and you put 5 stoners in a room and they start a band.
Yep. It's true.
It's very true. And I actually witnessed something to that effect.
I like that.
I was at a 420 event.
Yeah.
I was outside, I was smoking. There was other people outside smoking. And on the other side of the road was the parking lot for the venue that we were at. And they had a car show going on.
Nice.
They got a little rowdy.
Yep.
We just kind of stood there like, not that serious, Yeah. And the alcohol, fueled, testosterone fueled. My car is the best in the world. Yeah, we finished smoking, went back inside, and then they wound up having 7 cop cars there.
Oh, no.
Okay, so you got the stoners.
Yeah.
And you got the drunks.
Oh, I think alcohol is insane.
I know.
I think it's the fact that that's the normal vice in this world. It blows my mind, and the conditions that it puts people in, and it's still allowed, is just even worse.
Mm-hmm.
But all in time, Liz.
Yeah.
All in time.
Yeah.
you and I got some fighting to do, but I think we'll get there together.
Oh, listen, like I said, I'm from Jersey. I'm not known for being demure.
It's good.
No, I got a big mouth and I like to talk. And when I get stoned, then I get real chatty.
Good. We'll keep it up. And I'm excited to see you tomorrow. That's a nice surprise.
I know. I'm so excited. I can't wait.
Good. Well, enjoy the night. Thank you for jumping into this. I'm excited to get it out there for the both of us.
Listen, I'm excited to talk to you.
And safe journeys to tomorrow.
Yes, you too. And thank you so much for inviting me. This was so much fun.
Oh, we'll touch base after summer. We'll see how it went, and we'll get a second episode going.
Okay, that sounds great.
You got it. All right, Liz. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Take care.
So wait 1 second.
Okay.